The common question is like, am I supposed to stop thinking while I'm meditating? And I hear that from students a lot. And I think it's like, no, you won't stop thinking. I mean, maybe I haven't had that experience. And I found that when I thought that was something you were supposed to strive for, it created more tension and stress. And it's like, I'm not doing meditation so I can have more stress. Like, who wants more of that? There's already enough pain and suffering in the world as it is. So it's more like you get to choose how much value you place on thought, basically. Because if you're sitting and let's say you're doing a very basic meditation, which I love, and say you're focusing on just beneath your belly button, and when you breathe in, it lifts, and when you breathe out, it falls. So you breathe in, the belly rises, you breathe out, the belly falls. You breathe in, the belly rises, breathe out, the belly falls. And you can do this for 5, 10, 15. I mean, I recommend doing meditations for about 25 minutes, because I find like when you do that, that's where you really start to get the experience. And I don't think you need to go longer than that. 25 is good. If 25 is too long, pick something that you can do. But the idea is then you'll notice that your mind starts turning. Like it's like, oh, how long has it been? And what about this? And maybe I'm supposed to do that. Or maybe I'm supposed to stop thinking. Or maybe I'm blah, 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 blah. And as soon as you start going like, no, don't think, stop. It's like telling somebody who's really worked up to relax. Like, it doesn't work, right? You need to find a skillful way to manage that person who's behaving in an erratic or irrational way. So what I would do is I would go, all right, I hear you thinking. I'm focusing on the belly right now. Rising, falling, right? And then it's thinking, and then rising, falling. So you're noticing like, you have the ability to choose where you place your attention. And in order for meditation to happen, meditation arises, okay? So you're sitting there and you're doing a concentration exercise for the purpose of meditation arising. So what you're doing is, the concentration exercise is not, let's just sit here and see what I think about. That's not the concentration exercise. That's what you do all day long for the most part. So the concentration exercise is, I'm paying attention to this place beneath my navel, inhaling, rising, and exhaling, falling. And because it's if you could already concentrate, why would you need a concentration exercise? You just go, okay, I'm going to sit here and concentrate on one thing. So you give a concentration exercise to improve the quality of your life. So you're going inhale, rising, exhale, falling, and your thoughts are going blah, 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 and your back's going, I'm sore, why do we have to sit like this, or your knees, or your whatever. So you create an environment where there's as little distraction as possible. So you're not, meditating, maybe in the beginning, while your wife is doing the dishes, you're not sitting in the kitchen while she's clanging around. That won't work, right? Eventually you may be able to do it because you know how to drop in. So you go to a place where there's less distractions. If it hurts your back to sit on the floor, you sit on a chair, right? And then if it's quiet, there's less chance that you're, going to be thinking about all of the external things. But you notice the external things, the pain in the back, your mind turning, and you keep bringing it back to the concentration. Pay attention, pay attention. And over time, you'll realize that you can choose whether you pay attention to your thought or not. You can choose whether you move your leg or not. You can choose whether you get up and leave or not. You can choose whether you open your eyes and look at the timer or not. You can choose all of those things. And when you choose to just stay focused on the one thing at hand and do it over an extended period of time, you'll learn to concentrate. And then what happens is, when you're in a situation that's challenging and your initial response would be to be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Or you always do that, or some response that's going to cause a bunch of uneasiness. You can feel it, and then you can choose something else. You can feel I'm about to react, and you can choose a different response. And the reason you can do that is you've practiced that. You've heard your mind going blah, 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 and you've gone, I'm going to do this instead. You've heard your back saying, let's not do this anymore, and you've gone, I'm going to do this instead. And you've practiced it. So you feel that pause in the moment because you've practiced it over and over. So you didn't stop thinking. The whole time of practice, you didn't stop thinking, but you created a new relationship to thought where you go, yep, I'm thinking, just like my heart is beating, just like my back is a little bit sore, but I'm going to stay concentrated on this one thing, and by doing it repeatedly, I'll improve my concentration. And then when your thinking mind wants to take the wheel in a situation that might not be appropriate for you to respond in that way, you feel a pause and you respond in the appropriate way. And that's how it works. It's just creating a new relationship with thought rather than thinking, I need to stop thinking by thinking. It won't work.